You have heard many stories told by many of what was your first ever personal owned vehicle. When did you get it? Where did you get it? Why did you get it? And who did you purchase it from? Of course, the well-known 5 W's. What, when, where, why, and who. So today in this video, I'm going to talk about a very interesting but crazy story of how I ended up getting my very first personal owned vehicle. This is far fact and fiction. Let's get to it. In the spring of 2004, not too long after high school, and not too long after I enlisted in the United States Marine Corps, I got stationed at Camp Lejeune, North Carolina. Camp Lejeune is a Marine Corps base, and on the outskirts of this duty station is a small town called Jacksonville. So a month after I settled down in my new duty station, me and 2 other friends went out into the town on a time off, with one of them driving us around. While we were out and about, one of my friends decided to look at some vehicles because he, as well as I, didn't own a vehicle at the time. So the driver, who was from Montana, pulled into a place at the time called Holiday Mazda. So once we stopped at this used car lot, we got out, and the friend who was interested in looking for a vehicle to buy got out and started looking at the cars that he thought would be promising. Not too soon afterwards, he decided to stand down and lost interest. So after that, I told the driver, who is from Montana, that I too also wanted to look at some vehicles, a pickup truck in particular. He told me, okay, he will wait around a little bit longer. Then I decided to look, and it was not too long that 3 pickup trucks in the same area caught my attention. The driver came over and looked with me. These 3 trucks I was looking at were Ford Rangers. One was white, the other one black, and the last one was red. The white one caught my attention because it was a 2000 Ford Ranger XLT extended cab with very low mileage compared to the other Ford Rangers. The other 2 were 4-wheel drive with automatic transmissions, but had higher mileage. The white one was only a 2-wheel drive and was a 5-speed manual transmission. The friend from Montana looked in the white pickup truck with me, and as he did, I looked up at him and frankly told him, I'm buying this vehicle today. He looked at me and said, okay, this looks like a great choice, it's in great shape, has low mileage, and it's a manual transmission. Then he asked me, do you know how to drive one? I paused and answered, not really, no one has ever taught me. Then he asked, do you want me to teach you how to drive? I know how to drive one. Then I answered back, I rode with people that drove manuals. I watched them do it. Then he responded, that is not the same. Then I shocked him and said, I could figure it out, it shouldn't be that hard. Then he finally asked, are you sure? Then I told him, I got this. Then I got the attention of the salesman and said I was going to buy this vehicle, so we both turned and started heading to the office. The friend from Montana, the driver, caught up with me and told me that he and the other friend were planning to go somewhere. And then he asked me one more time, are you sure you want me to teach you how to drive a manual? Then I answered, I told you, I got this. Then he said okay, turned around, went back to his car with his friend, and left. So I went in the office with the salesman, filled out some paperwork, and of course, set up my loan for the vehicle. Then I got the key to the Ford Ranger. With all excitement, headed out the door, straight to the white pickup truck, unlocked the door, got in, and rolled down the window. One of the salesmen happened to be in the lot and told me, thank you for buying a vehicle at Holiday Mazda. Then I replied, thank you so much, and you're welcome. Then I put the key in the ignition and turned the vehicle on, but it didn't start. Then I tried again, still the vehicle did not fire up. So I kept on trying, and as I did, happened to look around and saw the salesman in my driver's side mirror, and he was just standing there, just staring at me. And then my pride got the best of me because I didn't ask for help at all. And I was determined to figure out how to drive a manual vehicle. Then I remembered something. When I was in the Boy Scouts long ago, my scout leader had a manual transmission vehicle, and I used to ride with him on many occasions when we went on camping trips. And I also remember when he used to turn on his vehicle, he would press down the clutch first, then turn the ignition on. Then I tried that, and the vehicle fired right up. Then I was relieved and ready to go. I released the parking brake because manual driven vehicles do not have a parking gear like automatics do. Then I looked over to the shifter, and of course it was in a neutral position. I knew I had to back out because I was boxed in by other vehicles, and plus the whole dealership lot was crammed with used cars. So I kept the clutch pressed down, putting the shifter in reverse or the R precision, and pressed on the gas pedal gently, then eased off the clutch. As I did, the truck jerked backwards, and when I attempted to press the clutch down and press on the brake, it was too late. I hit the car right behind me. I quickly got out and, being very embarrassed and very concerned about the car behind me that I tapped while reversing, went over to see what I did. The salesman happened to be staying there and saw everything. Quickly glanced over to the car behind me before I can go there. Then he told me, "Don't worry about it. All you did was dent the dealership license plate. You're good to go." I was relieved, but still embarrassed, and I didn't say anything to the salesman. So I went back to the vehicle I just bought, closed the door, and then I was ready to drive forward and get out of this place. I rolled up the window, turned the AC on, then I got prepared. Finally, I was ready to hit the road, and I was determined and even positive to finally drive a manual vehicle. So pressed down the clutch, put the shifter in first gear, and then gently pressed down the gas at the same time, eased off the clutch. The vehicle caught on, and once again, it jerked forward. I drove a short distance till I got to the entrance or the exit to the dealership lot, which led out to the highway. Then I stopped. Then I looked to make sure the way was clear. Then I attempted to take off. Of course, this time I eased off the clutch too fast and I stalled the vehicle. So I turned the vehicle on and tried again, and this time I successfully took off. And like before, the takeoff was rough and shaky, but finally I was on the highway going at the proper speed. It literally took me a week to smooth out on a manual driven vehicle. During that week, it was nothing but a trial by error, and in most cases, so many scary moments, or just being nervous behind the wheel, even though I was positive in myself to learn to drive a manual vehicle. Through this trial by error, or week of driving a manual vehicle for the first time, I saw the vehicle many times taking off first gear, at traffic lights, stop signs, sometimes stalling the vehicle several times in one spot, till finally I started moving. Other times taking off upward on a hill without rolling backward and hitting the person behind me. And there were many times of grinding gears or putting the shifter in the wrong gear at the wrong speed. Like I said before, it took me a week to smooth out, and while I was learning, I never wrecked the vehicle or endangered my life or anyone else while trying. Okay, I'm gonna wrap this video up. That includes this crazy story of how I got my first vehicle. So, if you're a fan of storytelling, either be fact or fiction, then you came to the right place, because that's what I do. So please subscribe and follow this channel by turning on all notifications. Also, check me on Instagram at FarEffectedFiction and follow. See you in another video, and thank you for watching.